everything that's not of you. Here I am, I wanna be consumed.
This is what you call a Holy Ghost party. Holy Ghost party.
I'd rather walk alone before I make this world my home. Now I know where I belong. That's under your shadow. Underneath the shadow of the Almighty, Almighty. Underneath the shadow, the shadow. Underneath the shadow of the Almighty, Almighty. Underneath the shadow, the shadow. He says try him in this, but do you test him? Do you really love him or just try to impress him? When you really underneath the shadow, there ain't no stressing. Knowing your protection, realizing his reflection. Such a blessing to get help straight from heaven. When you feel all alone in the desert under pressure, there's a stream of living water that flows from every lecture. If you learn to hold on, dry bones come together. He's the refuge in the valley of death, so have no fear, cause he's always standing near just to make your path clear. Now you choose life or death, I refuse to move. Cause when I'm thirsty, when I'm hungry, here's some water, here's some food. And it's free for the taking. Learn to embrace it when you make it to the shadow, feeling like you barely made it. Ain't no way I'm going back, now I'm fully persuaded. Only place for me is underneath the shadow. I'd rather walk alone before I make this world my home. Now I know where I belong. That's under your shadow. Underneath the shadow of the Almighty, Almighty. Underneath the shadow, the shadow. Underneath the shadow of the Almighty, Almighty. Underneath the shadow, the shadow. Look, to dwell in it means that you stay in it. I suggest you do more than just pray in it. When you tired, when you weary, just lay in it. Saturate yourself in his presence, get your strength in it. Cause them wolves come out when it's lunchtime, but my God beats them down when it's crunch time. If it ain't one thing, it's another. But there's something so refreshing in the shadow when you struggle. It's a place of restoration, quiet meditation. Focus every thought, every false imagination. It's a holy place built on holy conversation. Learn to hold your tongue so you can get your revelation. Satan can't reach you when you truly hit it. When you learn to apply everything that was written, you'll never get the victory if you'll never battle. Get to know Christ and abide in his shadow. I'd rather walk alone before I make this world my home. Now I know where I belong. That's under your shadow.